Good morning, Rabbi Sai. We have another one from Gershon Rose. This is a serious upgrade, he says. Check this out.
Behind me is North Korea, and I don't think any North Koreans has heard Rebelli's Daf Yomi share. So I'm going to scream over there and try and get some North Korean members. North Koreans, join MDY!
Yesterday's in Tokyo. Avrami Traft will go far and wide to get a free Gemara.
Actually, not that funny.
Somebody's paying this guy. Okay. Manny Brown. This is Mendy's uncle. Your uncle's talking here. Manny Brown. Braun. Whatever. He calls himself, Menachem Mendel. My father, Shlita, Mendy's uncle, heard a Shabbos Shuva drosha from Rabbi Yankiv Kamenetsky, Zecher Tzadik Beracha, Be'inyan Shuva B'Hadraga. Shuva, not in one shot, and Hadraga. Lamosh, if one speaks Lashon Hara 10 times a day, he's been capable to hold back once a day for a few weeks, then twice a day for a few weeks, and so on, and train himself to speak less and less until he can completely stop. That is Tshuva Shlema. Even though while he's in the process, he's still speaking quite a bit of Lashon Hara. The ones that disagree with you about being Mekabel, not the dog during Kaddish, seem not to have Rabbi Yankiv on their side.
Can I respond to this?
Absolutely. It's an ongoing thing.
Again.
Regards from Mendy.
Thank you. To be very clear.
Trust me, they hear you nice and loud. Don't worry about it.
Obviously they didn't, because I said this many times. The point is, if it's between you and Hashem, and you want to take on the Kabbalah, to be mamayed and talking, just after then of course you should do that. As a public campaign to Klal Yisrael, that would not be a good campaign. That's the Nakuda. Thank you.
I say, I have an idea. Once and for all. Let's go to your rabbi. Who's your rabbi? Rabbi Nissen Kimkat. Let's go together, without you telling him before that we're coming, on video, and write down the question before, and we're going to go. Let's go today.
For this, you don't have to talk to me.
There's a guy that just gave $5,000 to a campaign to stop talking during Kaddish right now.
There's nothing better than his money.
It's the best thing ever. People stop during Kaddish. You call him right now. It'll be unbelievable. Call him. Let's go.
I'm sure he's doing Shabbos and Yeshiva.
It was so nice to see you today by Reb Shaila's Tzion and Kirstir. See attached picture, how you pose with Reb Shaila. Listen to this. Rabbi said this is a little bit of a contradiction. I told him what you're doing and what you did to my life. Reb Shaila was amazed. He said, I must see this Magid Shir. So I had to switch on today's Shir. He should chab who we're talking about. On the one hand, he's able to talk to him. They talk back and forth. But he doesn't even know who I am. It's fun. I mean, he had you and your family in mind, and of course the whole MDY. I'm saying somebody that could talk from his cave or back and forth knows what's flying in this world. No, he knows who Jonathan Stefansky is also. He knows who Jonathan Stefansky is also. It's a guy, if you could schmooze back and forth like that, you could do anything. We had you and your family in mind, and of course the whole MDY Mishpacha. Regards, S.B. Stern from London. Gershon Rose also. Shayem ben Moshe. MDY. See attached in a few hours on one status. Gershon Rose, I'm surprised because I heard that Gershon Rose stopped with the status. I once asked him to go back on status, so maybe this is what he does. And if you'd look, Taka doesn't have any more statuses. This is the only status. I just realized. All I need is one person to join Rabbi Stefansky's Daf Yomi share. Would you like to try it? Maybe it's really for you. Private message now for the upcoming Masechta, and he had 479 views, and he got 2 sign-ups and possibly 3. You could do the same thing. It's just simple typing. Mendy, now you know how to do it? I showed. I brought a demonstration here. Okay. In the video below, you have the Mishgiach from Skada's Bakery visiting the Mishgiach Borough Park Matzah Bakery. Check out the MDY plate. Have a great day. We'll see you Bez Hashem Miami on the 25th. Your Talmud from Masechta Sukkah Daf Beis Mati Pearl taking the video. Here we go. You got volume? Good. Oh, that didn't work.
Rebellige bei Kuke hat du diese Diamond, the famous Shimmy Brown. I'm going to go MDY.
Good morning, our boys say,
What the famous Shimmy Brown.
Shimmy Brown, the famous Shimmy Brown. All right, Rabbi Sai. Here's a shaila. How can a woman, just by getting married, get 100 Nedarim on her, or 25, 10, 15, just by getting married, her husband, her new husband, doesn't say a thing, doesn't say a word. Oh, I have to get this. What is this? Do anybody have an answer? All the people that learned the daf yesterday. How about you? You learned the daf? No, you learned the daf? Snu, how's it shaykh? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, my favorite ties, Taka. Are you nuts? There's over $1,000 worth of ties here. 4 ties. The Quindici ties, they're not normal. Anybody want to tie Quindici? Anybody? Aaron, you bought them?
I'm just a messenger.
You're nuts. Why are people doing this? Who?
Yehuda Weiss from Lakewood.
Yehuda Weiss from Lakewood. How does he know I wear Quindicis? He's out to see?
Shabbos, he learns with a regular shirt in the shul, but
Yeah.
he wants a Shabbos just to see your ties. He runs that store over there. There was a bunch of locations.
Oh. All right, for that, listen, free ties. Well, I don't think I ever marketed anybody. I never said here by Lisa Jacobs, did I?
You said barbershops. You said a few things.
The barbershop, the guy who brings, yeah. Oh, if you push the daf, unbelievable, wow. Rabbi said, check these ties out.
Put it on now.
Let me just show you. The Quindici, all the way in the back, has all the numbers of the colors. It's a whole mahalach, and they have the brightest, craziest colors.
Put it on now.
It's not 300. Halavai 300. No, Matzi Shabbos only. Shkoyach Golem Oid. Oh, you think I pay that much? I get them for free. Everybody gives me matanas. Okay. Fine. Anybody have an answer for this? No? Nothing. Okay. Huh? What? Oh, yeah, it's supposed to. How can a woman gets married, as she gets married, because she got married, Nedarim fall on her, she becomes full of Nedarim. Without her new husband saying a word, he didn't think a word, he didn't do it. No, anybody? You want to take a stab at it? Oh, Nedarim that she had beforehand, that her first husband was mivatal, a certain way that once she gets divorced and remarries, when she remarries, the original Nedarim, they all come back. That's the sugya, one of the things we're going to learn today. The koilo, that's why it goes there. No, we'll see that in the sugya. The koilo, by Anonymous from Lakewood. Koilo, another sponsor for the koilo. The entire month, may supporting Torah strengthen our bitochen, omein yishkoyach. The Masechta, in Sgula Torah, in Tומכיה, כיעקב, ויעל. And finally, the art of this month is for complete refuah shlema for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. And Rabbi Isai, the oil of Torah lost, Reb Shimon Badani, is Levaya is today. Zeichat Tzadik Levracha. Yesterday, was yesterday? Yesterday. I missed it. I did miss it. Okay. I was busy learning. I don't know. Because you're arguing with me, I need to put a little machitza in it. Okay. So as you can see, Rabbi said we're holding Daf Ayin Tes all the way on the bottom of Ayin Ches, Amud Beis. Matzah Rav Chizda. The case over here is, if you see the chart, it says, we have a woman who said, oh no, is this it? Yeah, we had a woman, Koinam, yeah, this is it. Koinam, the smelly socks, she makes a neder. And he sits there and he doesn't say a thing. He pipes her on. Instead of being mefer, he's quiet. A lot of times we could be slightly familiar with this. Not everybody's wife, but some wives out there, they would like to turn to their husbands once in a while and say, do I look fat? What are they doing? They're testing you. They want to see, love them, not love them. What are you going to say? In those days, it's a little different. They say, do I look fat? They make an neder. Now, if you're a good husband, you'll move for right away. If you're one of those guys, all of a sudden now you're quiet, you maknit her, you upset her.
You let it simmer.
You let it simmer, Or in our case, you'd say, not that fat. It's like the same thing. Maknet, a little maknet, a little aknata.
Back then she would say, am I too skinny? Back then she would say, am I too skinny?
Yeah, am I too skinny? Yeah, okay. Very good. Yeah. Actually, fat was in my, I don't know what it was back then. It goes, every 100 years it changes. Fine. So, he was quiet. So the halacha was, we said yesterday, if he was quiet for 10 days, and then he's made for afterwards, so Gemara says it's a good hafara. Why? Because when the Torah says b'yom shamai, it means the day that you hear it, that's the day that you're made for. But if you have a reason why you're not being made for, the reason is because you just want to bother your wife, so that's okay, says the Gemara. So Masar Rav Chizda, chaymer b'hakim b'hafer. There's something that's more chaymer with a kiyum than a hafara. There's something that a kiyum is stronger than a hafara. Ubahafer mibahakim, and sometimes the hafara is stronger than the hakama. What is it? So we're going to start slow here. Chaymer bahakim shahashtika. Just want to make sure here. Yeah. Shahashtika mikayemes ve'ein shtika mivatelas. So, just by being quiet, by a hakama, just by being quiet, you can confirm the kiyum. But by being shaisek, by being quiet, you're not mivatel. The Ran just sticks in here that if we had the sugi, just to throw in the sugi that we had, if you have a combination of kli v'ichli, right? If he says like a funny lashon, take this and eat it, and he was also mefer in his heart, that's enough. The combination of two things. Fine, we're not going to go into that. Next, Kiyan Beliboy, if he was Mekayim in his own heart, so the Ran says here again, from the fact that the Torah says that when a person is quiet for a whole day, he's Mekayim his neder. Why? Because then he's Megaladas, he's showing us that he wants the neder. So therefore, you see from that, says the Ran, you hear? If a person is quiet a whole day, the neder becomes mekuyim. Why? Because he says, I want it to become mekuyim by me being quiet a whole day. Therefore, if a person says, I want to be mekayim right now, I see from that a person has the ability to confirm the neder this moment. Again, from the fact that I see that after a whole day becomes mekuyim. Why? Because he's megaladas, he wants to become a mekuyim. So now we know how it works. We know the insides of kiyum. It's based on his ratzon, on his giludas, and that happens. Sometimes it happens after a day, and sometimes, says the Ran, it happens after a minute. He says right away, I want to be mekayim it. He says it where in his heart, and that's enough. Kim believe boy kaya. Offer believe boy, but if he made a farah in his heart, he says, I'm mevatel this. It's not mekuyam. What would I just do here? Oh, this goes here. And this goes here. Okay, fine, sorry. So Nachamol, Kiyam b'liboy kayam. If he's mekayim, he says he confirms it in his heart, it's a good thing. It's a good kiyam. Hafer b'liboy, and we mentioned this halacha earlier. If you do hafara, you cannot do hafara in your own heart. So what's the chumrah of kiyum? The chumrah of kiyum is that if you're quiet, you could confirm it in your heart, and shtika, you cannot be mevatel with shtika. No. I'm not. Who's talking about kiyum? That's another halach that we're going to get to in a second. She made a neder, and in your heart, I'm mevatel the neder. In your heart, I'm mevatel, not after a kiyum. There's two things going on here. She made a neder. You have two options: either to be mekayim or to be mevatel. You could be mekayim in your heart. You cannot be mevatel in your heart. Kiyam. Here, this is the line that you're talking about. Once he's mekayim it, ein yachal lahafer. If he was mekayim it, he said it's a good neder. Now he no longer could be mefer. Heifer and Yachal Lekayim. And if he was Mefer, he said it's not a neder, he cannot be Mekayim. So once you do one of the two options, you have either the option to be Mekayim, to confirm the neder, or to annul the neder. You did one of the two, that's it, it's too late. So let me ask you a question. There was a big gadol, I forgot his name. His wife was very sick. She made a neder that she's going to go to the Kivrei Tzadikim. Forgot what country they lived in. So there was war, different things. And by the time she healed, and her husband said, this gadol, he said, I'm a kabel the neder, I'm a kaim the neder. So it's a good kiyum. Now, she got healthy, and she wanted to be mekayim her neder. She's very worried, and she couldn't do it anymore. That's it, they closed down the things. It's very dangerous to go there. Now what do? You hear the shaila? He was mekayim. The big question is, could you go to a rav and be matter a neder that her husband was mekayim? You hear? Could you go to the rav if the husband didn't do it? Fine. But over here, the husband was mekayim. So the Marie Bruna said that you could. There's such a halacha, and he brought a raya from our sugya over here. They want to bring a raya fakert from our sugya, but at the end of the day, I think that's how they pass it. That once, even though the husband was mekayim, you could go to a rav and annul the neder. Huh? Exactly. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to be matir and be mefer retroactively. Correct. What? That's exactly what he was saying. That's what they were saying. But the others wanted to say no. The Hatara is great when nobody got involved, and you could be Mekai, you could retroactively annul it. But maybe once the husband gets involved and it's Mekayim, maybe you don't have that right. Okay, fine. Because it says over here, Kiyim en Yochel Lahafer. Okay, fine. So, Ktani, Bakapanim, we're trying to bring a riot to our sugya. What? You have a case where a woman made a neder and the husband was quiet, and his reason was to bother her. That's why he was quiet. Not to be Mekayim, but to bother her. We have at least three types of shtikas here. We have a shtika that's Mekayim, there's a shtika that he doesn't know, and there's a shtika to bother her. There's a reason why there's a shtika. My love, when you're quiet, that itself is a confirmation, it's a kiyum. My love, so what does that mean? Again, like we had yesterday, since there's no explanation, so we have to say it's talking about all types of shtika. It's in all categories. It doesn't matter if the guy was quiet because he wanted to be kind, the guy was quiet because he was upset at his wife. What's the difference? He was quiet. It doesn't say, if it would say, hey, he was only quiet but not to upset his wife. It doesn't say that. It says he was quiet. So we have to understand it means all types of quietness, even the case that we're talking about, the case of bothering your wife. Not a riot. Maybe what we're talking about over here is a different type of shtika. It's being quiet in order to be Mekayim. Now, just pay attention here for a second. The Ram points this out. It's very interesting because it is Nedarim, and sometimes the Lashonas are all over the place. So over here is a good example. What does it mean? B'shoisek al menas Lekayim. He's quiet on condition to confirm the neder. When? This minute or at the end of the day? So over here it would mean this minute. In 5 lines from now, it means at the end of the day. Okay? Stam. Why? It's Nedarim. You don't know. You ask him. He tells you. You don't know. You're not supposed to know. It's none of your business. It's my business. I'm shoisek. I know what I did. I was Mekayim. It's all about the husband. You have to ask him. You'll never know. How could you know? He's going like this. Maybe he's Mefer. How do you know he's Mekayim? You have to ask him. There's no only Shaya from Kistir can know. He's kind of Shaya from Moshe. You and I can't know this stuff. Says Gemara, Hainu Kiyim Beliboy Kayim. Wait, you're just telling me that he's Mekayim it in his heart. He was shoisik and he's Mekayim it right now. Wait a minute, that's the next case. Kiyim Beliboy. That's mamish that case that he's Mekayim in his heart. Says Gemara, no. We're going to introduce another type of shtika. We're not introducing it because we actually discussed it yesterday. Same exact sugya. There's another type of quiet stam. He's quiet. He doesn't want to be mefer. He doesn't want to be mekayim, garnished. Nothing's going on in his brain. Ashkechon chomer b'hakem mibahafer. So we just said that if you're quiet, that is a confirmation. but you never told me that. So now you know Kiyum has one thing that's more chomer than Hafara. What about Hafara over Kiyum? What does that have? Again, this is a lashon of Nedarim. Minalan always means in Shas. How do we know? Over here it means, what is it? Okay, stop pointing it out. Give me a reason that Hafara is different and more strong and stronger than Hakama. Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Nishalin ala hakim ve'ein nishalin ala hafer. Here, Nishalin ala hakim. You could ask a Shiloh. You could go that same day, says the Ran. It's not a raya so much to our Shiloh over there. If a husband, let's say, did a kiyum, he told his wife, I'm mekayim in neder, just like that Gadol did. His wife was very sick and she's mekayim herself in neder, and the husband was happy with her neder. He said, it's a great idea, you should go to the Kivrit Tzadikim, I'm mekayim the neder. And then he says, wait a minute, what am I talking about? Even if she gets healthy, how is she going to get there? It's mamash sakans nefashos. So what does he do? He runs to the rabbi. He runs to the rabbi and says, I want to undo my kiyum. So they say beseder. But if he says, like in this bubble, he says, I want to undo the hafara. I think it's a great idea that she should go to the Kivrit Tzadikim. But why did I say at the time, I'm mefer? I felt bad for her. But I think that she should be mekabel or neder. Too late. Rabbanim are not going to help you. Once you do hafara, that's it. They're locked out of the story. They cannot be mefer. They can't be matir, right, hafar, sorry. They cannot be matir, hafar. Once he's mefer, it's all over. Moser Rav Kahana. V'machareish yacharish lo isha. Here's the pasuk. So the beginning of the pasuk is v'machareish yacharish lo isha. Her husband is quiet. Miyoyim el yoyim. We already discussed. It doesn't mean 24. It's 24 hours or up until Tzitzit Chavim, and we paskin. Our Mishnah says Tzitzit Chavim. Veikim is called the that by itself, by him being quiet, miyoyim el yoyim, that makes the neder mekuyam. And then it says at the end of the pasuk, heikim moisam kehechrish la. It's mekuyam. Why? Because he was quiet. Just by being quiet, that's mekayim the neder. Says Gemara, b'machrish yachrish la isha b'shoisik almanas lemekat hakos medaber. The pasuk is talking about when he's trying to bother her. Our case, he goes like this, I five you on, you said a neder, I'm going to let you soak in it and worry, are you going to be mefer, not mefer? I'm not doing it, I'm just bothering you now. Yeah? This is the most obvious question. Who told you that this beautiful pasuk is talking about our case? Maybe it's talking about a regular case, the guy is quiet. When you and I read this pasuk, if a husband is quiet, we didn't think about a fight. We thought if he's quiet. So who told you he's talking about a fight here? Maybe he's quiet and he wanted to be Mekayim when? Over here, says the Ran, at the end of the day. Not right away. Kacha. Okay? Let's see the chart. I need a button. Please get me a button. I'm begging you. What? It's ready? Okay, so Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we're doing a button. He'll come back right now with his flu and everything. No button. Again, so the pasuk says the Gemara like this. So you see the two reds here. The pasuk says it twice. He's quiet. That's the end of the pasuk is talking about a regular case where a person is quiet and he's waiting until the end of the day. He says, okay, at the end of the day, it's going to be mekuyim. So then why does the pasuk say it twice? Why does it start off with achri yachish? Okay, so that now it's understood. You're asking me, is talking about a guy that's trying to bother his wife? Because it can't be talking about a guy that's just being quiet and trying to be making, because it already says it in the pasuk. Basically, the fact that the Torah says it twice, that's how we have two cases. We have a case of a husband that's quiet, because he wants to do the halacha, he wants to be mekayim the neder, and we have a husband that doesn't want to be mekayim the neder, he just wants to bother his wife. And in that case, when he decides to be made for it, even 10 days later, 2 years later, he could be made for it, says the Gemara. Why? Because he was never mekayim it. The only reason he's quiet, he had a very good reason. Anytime you have a good reason, it's a... Says the Gemara... Sorry, so let's go back. Nachal. So over here it says in the pasuk Vaker. Finally we get to the question here. So the pasuk, let's go back to the pasuk. The pasuk says mefurish. Look, we're talking about two cases. We're talking about our case that we're asking a question about. Where the Gemara, not question. The Gemara established who was it? Omer b'Chanina. There's a question from Chanina in the middle of the Daf Yomi. Chanina says that if a person was upset at his wife and he was quiet to bother her, he has 10 days. Over here it says mefurish in the pasuk that it's a good neder, even in the case of hachrish yachrish. The beginning of the pasuk is talking about a fight. It says mekoyam, he doesn't have 10 days. How do you tell me he has 10 days? It says Gemara to Yufta. It's a bomb question. End of the story. We don't know what to do. We can't fix Rabbi Chanina. Okay. Says the Gemara. So what does a bomb question mean? End of the story. So if you have a bomb question, do you ask another question? I don't know. Maybe. Says the Gemara. This two other types of shtika. Who told you to talk about that this pasuk is talking about, and you bring me right from this pasuk, it's a good neder in a case of a fight? Maybe it's talking about the shtika. Stop. There's a shtika that goes to the end of the day's mikayim. There's a shtika stop. So the Gemara, if you look at the pasuk, here we go. It says the word hachresh. What happened to it? 3 times. Im hachresh, yachresh, kiyachresh. So we have all 3 shtikas: shtika stam, shtika l'kayim, and shtika leminkat. Shtika to bother your wife. Masiv Rava. So now the Gemara asks another question. Says the Ran, you're allowed to ask more questions, even though you have a bomb question that we don't have an answer to. We said tiyufta, because just in case you do come one day up with a good answer, so I have a backup question. Nadroim chashecha. It says in our Mishnah that if a woman made another right before Motzi Shabbos, he better run ahead and do afara. He only has a few minutes to do it. Let him do it right away. Why? Because if Tzesek Kachavim comes on Motzei Shabbos and you didn't do afara, you're locked out. You can't do afara anymore. Beautiful kasha. You told me anytime you have a reason why you're quiet, then you have 10 days. Over here has a very good reason, because it's almost Motzei Shabbos. Why does he have to rush to get an azafara right before Shabbos is over? He can wait as long as he wants. As long as he's quiet for a good reason, and his reason is because he doesn't have time right now. So he has 10 days, 20 days. What's the difference if he's waiting because he wants to wait until he's calm and Motzei Shabbos, or he's waiting because he wants to chepe his wife? Chepping his wife is better than Motzei Shabbos. It's the same exact idea. Says Gemara to Yufta. It's a bomb question. So I have another one. And here's the third one. A guy comes to the Rav and he says, my wife made a neder. She said, a neder, I'm never going to eat potatoes again. So the Rav says, no, so be mefer. She's like, what's mafer? Mafer. Mefer. I've never heard of it. So the halacha is yofer. Why? Because, says the Ran, it's not, the Torah says Yom Shamai, right? At the end of this passage, be Yom Shamai. Says the Ran, it's not the day that you heard if you don't know about the halacha of afara. You hear this? In order to be Yom Shamai, you need to know the halachas of afara. If you're an Amoritz and you have no idea what Hafara is, you never learned Nedarim before, like most of us before we started this Masechta, then you don't have Yom Shammai. Yom Shammai doesn't start until you learn the Hilchas Nedarim. If a person knows that there's such a thing called Hafara, here, we saw this a bunch of times. Hey, Kimoisam, B'yoim Shammai. Yeah. Foolish. There's a very chashav Magid Shir who's in everybody knows the world famous yeshiva. I just met him the other night at Ma'ariv, and I saw right away that he doesn't do the daf anymore with us. I saw in his eyes like he was, and he's a guy that used to write me all the time, like kashas and stuff, and learning. And I enjoyed it a lot. He's a big Talmud Chacham. So I'm like, says, I dropped that at the end of Yavamas. Another casualty of Yavamas. So I told him, I said, let's go. He goes, I have to be Maida. I never learned really Nedarim, and I feel like an Amar, it's a Nedarim. I said, okay, we're going to start. We masber everything in every year. Here, B'yoim Shammai, I'm starting for him. B'yoim Shammai, it says you only have one day. We discussed it before, but here it's in the pasuk. B'yoim Shammai, go back to the pasuk. B'yoim Shammai. You have until Shkia to hear. There's an eder, and then the father and the husband, both of them, have until that day, that Tzeisek Echavim, to know the daughter and the wife's Nedarim. Depending, we had a whole sugya, we're not going to go into it. If she's engaged, if she's married, okay. We're talking about a husband now. I know that there's such a thing called Hafara. Aval any idea she's a neder. I didn't chap that this is a neder. Oh, this is a little bit different, says the Gemara. Is this considered Yom Shammai? Again, he knows the idea of Hafara. He's just a little bit of Amaretz when it comes to Nedarim. He doesn't know what constitutes a full neder and not a full neder.
Shammai we understand.
Huh?
Shammai we understand, not here.
But Yom Shammai, he understands what?
Understands what happened.
But the Gemara doesn't say. Well, it depends. Maybe he'll explain pshat in Chachamim. Maybe Remeya Omer lo yafer. He cannot be made for why? Because now we don't say, he doesn't know Hilchas Hafara. He knows that Allah is Hafara. He just wasn't sure if this is an enes. That's his problem. He heard it. He should have been made for. The Chachamim yafer. No, if you don't have the whole package. If you don't know that it's a neder and that you could be made for, you don't have everything, that's still not Yom Shammai. Yom Shammai means you know everything. You know that it's a neder, you know that you have the ability to annul the neder, and you didn't do it. Then the clock starts ticking right then, and when it comes to Tzeisek Echavim, it's over for you. But if you're an Amaretz in either one of the two things, you don't know this constitutes a neder, or you don't know that there's even a concept called Hafara, then you have until forever, until you learn that halacha. Ask the Gemara, but according to Meir that says he cannot be mefer v'amai levi kishoisik amanas lemekat. You just told me an idea, beautiful concept in the Nedarim. B'yoim Shammai only means on a day that I'm talking about Reb Chanina, not you just now. Reb Chanina yesterday. Yom Shammai means that you want to be mefer, but if you know for a fact you don't want to be mefer, you're quiet because you have a good reason. A very good reason would be to bother your wife. In this case, a very good reason is because you pasha don't know the halacha. So you should be able to be made for it on a different day. Then the clock doesn't start ticking. What's the difference if you want to bother your wife, which Reb Chanina says you have 10 days, 20 days, 1,000 days, or if you don't know the halacha? It's a very good reason. The reason is, what is it in English they say? Like if you say, officer, I didn't know you're not allowed to go through a stop sign. Ignorance. No, but there's a better way to say it. Huh? No, ignorance of the law is not a defense. That's how you say it. Ignorance of the law is not a defense. Okay. I go on over here. The Gemara said ignorance of the law should be a defense. It shouldn't be any worse than a guy that wants to make out his wife to yufta. Okay, so we have 3 bam kashas on Reb Chanina. Hadran alach nara marasa. Hadran alach nara marasa. The Nedarim said it was a very difficult parak. They warned us before. Today's daf, I think, is very simple. Says the Gemara, and yesterday's daf, we had a lot of easy daf in here. And we're continuing with the simple ones. So just to show you real quickly, we're going to go through these two things so we have them clear. There's two types of reasons why a husband is going to be made for his wife's neder. Either because it's inu nefesh, it causes her pain and aggravation, affliction, whatever you want to call it, it bothers her. She can't eat a certain food, she can't do a certain thing. And then you have dvarim shebeina levena, things that get in between the two of them. Not wearing makeup, the Mishnah says, different things that bother a couple. So those are the two reasons why a husband will be made for a neder. Now it's interesting that Ve'elu Nedarim Shu Mefer says the Heilige Mishnah, sponsored by Yoel Friedman, Lili Nishmas, my dear father, Chaim Avram Shalom, Ben Yeruchim Ben Yisrael David. Avram Shalom Yeruchim Ben Yisrael David Olav Shalom. Ben Nedarim Shu Mefer. Dvarim sheyesh b'hem inu nefesh. So this is the big problem here, that the Mishnah only mentions one out of the two. And that's what the Gemara is going to explain. Why? With special chiddush in inu nefesh, there's things that about inu nefesh. Again, inu nefesh is that it causes her pain. It's just physical pain, discomfort. How come the Mishnah doesn't mention, well, there's something called dvarim shebeina levena. We have to remember these terms because when you go back and forth, I don't want to explain it in English every single time. There's inu nefesh and dvarim shebeina levena. Inu nefesh is affliction and beina levena between the two of them. Im erchatz, im lo erchatz. So we're going to see in the Gemara what exactly she said here. The bottom line is, she won't, what? No, it's not both. No, it's for sure not both. But what does it mean, each one, huh?
Merchatz fits both categories.
Yeah. Correct. But the Mishnah calls this an inu nefesh. Person who can't bathe, inu nefesh. Now, people go to the mikveh, so they would have to go in the freezing cold. You can't benefit from going to the mikveh if it's to cool off or something. Fine. So, inu nefesh. This is a terrible inu nefesh. I said there's a certain country in Europe, I don't want to mention which one. You go there, it's not inu nefesh b'chlal. This is part of life. You're not supposed to wear deodorant, you're not supposed to shower, whatever. But depends on the person, on the thing. Inu nefesh. By the way, there's I once looked it up. I didn't look it up now. There are certain people in the world, maybe 1 out of 1 billion, 1 out of 100 million, that are allergic to water. They can't shower. They can't drink. It's a whole. Whatever. They'll take showers in Coca-Cola. I don't know what. They just can't shower. Well, Coca-Cola has what? I get it. Fine. In grape juice. What? You have a kid like that. I think all kids are allergic to water. Yeah. Is he allergic to Coke? That's the shaila. If he doesn't drink Coke, you know he's allergic to water. Fine. A guy in yeshiva once asked, I'm new here to yeshiva. I'm only here for a month. Where's the shower? My yeshiva, the guy asked once, I'm here for a month. Where's the Beis Medrash? Whatever. This Mishnah, I love this Mishnah. Why? I used this Mishnah once against one of these guys. I love arguing with these guys. There's a guy that he sponsors $1,000 per kala who doesn't wear makeup during her chuppah. So I went, I stopped for the shtick. I went over. What about this Mishnah? It says mafurish. Imiskashet vim lo iskashet. You look at the ran over here, like 5 lines from the bottom. He should upon him. We're talking about makeup, no more, no less. And what does the Mishnah call it? Inui nefesh. This is affliction of the body of it's mamish. It's and you're telling a whatever. He had his own kishbainis for the shtick. It was fun fighting. I'm a Russia. I'm a kaifer. What did he say? Different. That a kala is a lot of shleitis gan al bala. There's a lot of halachas like that in Shas. Okay, whatever. Kashav ma'is. He holds boom $1,000. Now he turns to Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Kիעקב. Oh wow, it's a long one. I didn't chap. For about the Beracha, Parnassa, Hatzlacha for his entire. I thought we were talking about a 4-line Amud Beis. Seriously, We're learning the Daf and for Hatzlacha, the members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. Amud Beis. He argues. He says, no, not going to the shower is not inu nefesh. This is what it is. If I don't, I'm not going to eat apples anymore. I think it means even one type of fruit. He could say, Paris Medina Zoo says the fruits of this particular country. The Ran points out it doesn't mean your country, because if you're in your country, then for sure you can be made for it. This says I'm not going to have any fruit from California. Yavi Lam Medina Cheres. You can bring from another country. Then, Paris company zel lie any yachal offer. If she says this from this particular store, so you can't be mefer because there's a way out of it. But if the husband has credit, only that makolet, that store, harezi offer, then how's she going to make food and everything? Divrei Rebbe Yosi. Okay, fine. There's whatever. Okay, say it a different time. Nidrei inu nefesh. Who the mefer? Ask the Gemara, but it says in the Mishnah only one of the two. Inu nefesh. Shebe inu nefesh inu mefer. What if there's no inu nefesh? There's no heter to be mefer. But Tanya, I wanted to point out also in the Mishnah that when we're talking in the Mishnah, who are we talking about? A husband or a father? So we're talking about, the Ran says, we're talking about a husband. Inu nefesh, ben levena, talking about a husband. But if you remember, Naf Samach Vav, the Ran over there brings the Rambam, who holds that even a father's dvarim shebein levena, it's the same thing as a husband. There's a bein levena between a father and a daughter. She says, I'm not going to cook you anymore, cook for you. I'm not going to clean your house anymore. It's dvarim shebein levena, and it can be made for, and it has to be dafka that kind of category according to the Rambam. Fine. I think the Rambam brings a raya from not this line right over here, but in general. You see how the Gemara brings the pasuk of a father and a husband, and then the Gemara goes in to say, the husband, sorry. Is that the raya fakert? It's a raya fakert. It's only the husband, not, okay, fine. From over here, you see that the husband is made for Nedarim that have to do between the two of them. Sometimes it's married relations, sometimes it's just things like showers, or also Dorim Shabbat makeup, we said. It says Gemara, Amri, Holim V'Holim Mefer. No, you can be made for both of these categories. Inu Nefesh and Dvarim Shabbat Levena. You Inu Nefesh, Mefer La'ilam. What does that mean? First of all, if you look at the pasuk, it says before in the pasuk, La'anois Nefesh. So that's Mefurish in the Torah. Inui nefesh is Mefurish in the Torah, something that has to do with physical discomfort. But the Gemara says the big nafkamina. What you hear, Judah, when the Mishnah says, these are the Nedarim that you may fear, and it brings Inu nefesh, because Inu nefesh is la'olam. So if the husband is here in 2023 and he says, Mufar, what happens afterwards is not Nigeya. They could get divorced, she could remarry, he could remarry her, doesn't matter. It's Mufar la'olam. That's the pshat in the Mishnah. The reason why it doesn't say the other category, that miu aval im b'aminu nefesh, if it doesn't have inu nefesh, in other words, this dvarim shebein levena, it has to do with me and her. When they're married, it's a good afara. When he divorces her, then the Nedarim go back to her. This doesn't answer my question yet. But what if he remarries her? He marries her, and she made a neder. She's not gonna shower. She says, "Oh, that's dvarim shebein levena. I'm mefer." Then they get divorced. The neder is chal automatically. Then he remarries her because it's a mitzvah in the Torah to remarry her. Then the neder goes off automatically. Time out. Hold on 1 second. See you shaking your head over there. So here, a shower. It's ben leveno. But if it's inu nefesh, then the neder is no good at all. The Gemara just goes over it again. Someone not goyer is fine. Now, if there's no inu nefesh, it's dvarim shebeina leveina. It's something between the two of them. She won't cook for him anymore.
That is it.
So, cleaning. I don't know what. Figure it out. Something that's beina leveina. Makeup. Okay? Dvarim shebeina leveina. It's not inu nefesh. It's inu nefesh. Dvarim shebeina leveina. Ki megarish lo chayil ala, huh?
Promising not to cook for him is not inu nefesh. It means inu nefesh for her.
Yeah. Inu nefesh is for her. Fine. Inu nefesh for her. Good point. Says the Gemara, what's going on here? If a woman here, in this case right over here, a woman says, I'm not giving you can't have benefit from me. He was upset, the food burnt, whatever. She says she's nishba, she makes a nether, she's not going to benefit anymore. Not going to cook for him. And he says, I was just going to say that. Fine. She tosses the last toss and she makes the nether. So the halacha is, what's the halacha? According to Tanakama, he doesn't have to say a word. Why? Because nachal. She's meshubah to make him food. She's meshubah certain things. She's the wife. She can't make a nether like that. Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, you better make the nether. You know why you better make the nether? Because if you don't, she might get divorced. You might divorce her. And then you're going to remarry her. And the nether is going to remain. The nether is going to remain. So you're better off breaking the nether right now, just in case you get divorced and you want to remarry her. So you see from here that if you get divorced, the nether is chal, and it doesn't go away, like you said. Says the Gemara, Amri, Holin, V'holin, Avafara. No. Either way, whether it's inu nefesh or ben leveina, is a good afara. Elo nidre inu nefesh mefer bein la'atzmai bein la'acherim. You hear this? Bein la'acherim means even other men that are going to marry afterwards. So when you do inu nefesh, you have the right to be mefer today, and it's chal forever, even for another husband when he doesn't have control over it. Ein ba inu nefesh. But if it's just dvarim shebein leveina, la'atzmai mefer la'acherim eni mefer. To himself, he won't be mefer. So in other words, what happens is, let's just do these two lines. Our mission is only talking about one category. A neder that you mefer for everybody, yourself and the following husbands in line. Nedarim sheyesh b'hem inu nefesh. But nedarim that don't have inu nefesh, it's just dvarim shebeino leveina. He can only be mefer what's neged to him. So as soon as it comes out like this. He took off the Nedarim. So they're off. He gets divorced, they're off. L'chayra. Once she gets married to another man, all the Nedarim that he took off, that have only to do between him and her, the original husband, they pop back on. You hear? Mendy, I'm asking him. You have a bunch of Nedarim that are between this husband and this wife. Makeup. So he says, I'm mefer. Great. And then he divorces her. But once she gets married to another guy, she's not allowed to wear makeup anymore. Because it's not Dvarim Shebein Leveino. It was only the original husband that was able to cancel that neder, and then it goes back. That answers the original riddle. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Wow, it's getting later and later every day.